Hey everyone, I got another walkthrough video for you today. Me and my buddy Matt went down to this waterfall called Wahoosh Falls or Wahoosh, I don't know what it's called. It's in Mississauga by the U of T campus. And, did you even know there's like all kinds of waterfalls in Ontario? Tons of them in Hamilton. This one's in Mississauga right in my backyard. How it was there for like 30 years and I didn't know about it. I've been in this area a while. So we went and checked it out, brought our cameras down, did our enthusiast thing, had some fun until the fun police kicked us out. And we had a great time. Canada's not just polar bears and igloos and snowshoes. It's been 40 degrees Celsius for weeks on end here. So it was really great to get out in this pandemic. We kept our distance, but just to reconnect and socialize. And it was great to just have some fun and relax for a while. It's good to be an enthusiast shooter in Canada in this weather. So let's go check out what we produced. So it took about 84 photos while we were out there, and I haven't shot outdoors in a while, but I was really excited to get into this. So my usual process, we'll take a scroll through the photos and cancel out anything that's blurry or unusable. Nice light pouring in from the trees was kind of neat. It was a very busy area, a lot of branches. But then we finally got to the waterfalls and it was pretty cool. I wanted to focus on timed exposure during this outing. It's something I almost never do, and waterfalls are the perfect opportunity to get this glassy water kind of look. I normally shoot very high shutter speed, and the last time I was at a falls, everything just looked really busy and aggressive. This gave a nice calm, smooth feeling. I took most of these shots on a Manfrotto mini tripod. And it was kind of neat because I didn't have to lug around a giant tripod the whole time. And I could set it on little rocks. As I got closer to the falls, I could pop it on a log, on a little rock while my feet were in the water. And I didn't feel like anything was going to get swept away. But it's definitely not as good as a real tripod because the mini tripod can't actually support the weight of a longer lens. Here you can see what a higher shutter speed looks like, and there's just so much detail. But it's too much to look at. It kind of just looks like mud. This was my first time, but what I learned is when you slow down water and it becomes glassy, it needs something to interact with or it's just a big blur. Since I was going for high shutter speeds here, I was trying to find the right settings. I'm going to go with the fastest one, where it caught the action the greatest, and get rid of the other ones. You can see here, I got the most detail. This was my last shot, and I had a really hard time picking the right composition while I was there at the scene. I couldn't decide if I wanted more of the falls, more of the light hitting the water in this area. This shot has too much junk going on looking at it now. Same with this one. A lot of junk here. Sometimes looking at the shot from far away tells a completely different story, and it's always good to pull back as well as zoom in. I'm really thankful for this mode in Lightroom, to be able to see everything together at a distance. So here we've got two different shots with completely different focal points. The water or the rocks. The beautiful part about the one with the rocks is that it also has the water in it, whereas it's kind of missing from just the falls alone. They both tell a different story, and this one's just more about style. Let's see if I got it in focus. Looks like I missed the focus on the other shot, but I nailed it in the other one. So this one is going to be my winner. So we're down to 7 shots now from 23. Let's take a look at these together. You want to cut away anything that's too similar. You don't need too many of the same type of shot. It's not giving you anything additional. It just makes you look indecisive. Again, looking at this from far away is really helping me out. As cool as this shot is, it's missing this nice waterfall. And this shot actually looks better in fast motion zoomed up than it does in slow motion. It tells a more interesting story. I'm not loving the angle on this shot. It looks like I'm pointing up, and it just has a weird feeling like I'm really small. I guess this is the downfall of using the mini tripod. It gives you some odd angles that don't always work out. On this shot, it was propped on a rock that was about waist height, whereas this was on a rock on the floor. So it's producing a much nicer angle. This is a nice shot too. I'm going to keep this one, and that one. So now we're down to 4 very different shots. I would be happy keeping all of these and editing all of them. If I was to edit all 70 right off the bat, I would have wasted a ton of time. So I recommend this process to narrowing down, using some creative skills and some critical thinking to get the best shots. Because I messed up this shot, I'm going to try something creative to try and recover it in a different way. I'm going to make it a panorama type shot to get more of the edges in. Because to be honest, there's not a whole lot going on down here that's interesting. It's kind of just wasted space. The real interest is the forest. See how dramatically that changes the shot by taking out the garbage from the photo? It's as if all of a sudden the waterfall came into view and it became far more interesting. You remove the visual clutter that was distracting the viewer's eyes. The whole shot is feeling a little oversaturated right now, so let's pull back a bit. I think I've gone as far as I want to go in Lightroom for this shot. I'll make some tweaks in Photoshop. Dehaze is a cool slider. Anywhere you feel like something's getting blurry and like a fog of white, dehaze is a nice way of sharpening something in just those areas. That's better. There we go. I like that. I can already tell this is probably going to be my best shot and the one I'm going to post. It has the most going on in the shot. It has the best balance of light and dark and color and movement. Let's see what we can do. I want to try and bring back more of this area here and more of this area here because they're kind of blown out. So a spot highlight did a good job there. Let's take one last look at everything. I definitely like the color and contrast happening in this shot with the bright greens, bright whites, and dark shadows. This one is just very brown overall with just little hints of green. And it seems like there's missing a waterfall in the middle here that would have been really nice. This turned out to be a good shot too. Again, there's a missing waterfall. And the water's just kind of boring. And while this is an interesting shot, the only thing it has going for it is this area right here with the rushing water. It just doesn't have nearly enough interest. So I'm probably going to only take away this one and drop these 2 guys back. I don't think they're going to enhance my portfolio enough. Looking at these 2 shots side by side now, I feel very confident I can stand behind them as quality work that I would want to edit, I would want to share. Don't just share stuff just because. Every shot you share is a reflection of your skill and talent, so be very, very selective. You always want to try and blend in the results to make sure that it's realistic. Anywhere there's a pattern, you have to make sure you follow it. And line it up perfectly. Careful of repeating patterns. Repeating patterns are a dead giveaway that something's been cloned. So keep editing an area until it looks unique from the rest of the area. You want to keep picking up the surrounding patterns, because if you pick the wrong area, the whole thing looks fake. And if you're getting too strong a result, lower the transparency of the clone brush so it's less aggressive, and you can slowly tone an area in. Luckily, a lot of this area is just white, so nobody will ever know. no texture to fight, which is nice and easy. We'll go back in and sharpen this area so that it matches the level of noise you're seeing in the surrounding area. See how this is blurry and this is noisy? I would want to sharpen that up. We're nearly done this area. There we go. You can't even tell the branch was there. That worked really well. Because this area is not the focal point of the image, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time making sure that it's ultra perfect for every single leaf. The goal is that it just blends in without any evidence left behind. So I'm just going to get rid of these sharp edges. Using a low transparency brush. Just using the burn tool, I'm going to bring up some of the areas that were a little weaker. Bring some interest back. And the same with the dodge tool. Make some of the highlights pop. Now that I think of it, I just want to remove this highlight altogether. Looks like the sun was hitting a tree or something. I like to use the sponge saturation. If I feel like there's some nice color that's just not being put on display really well. And this log should have a nice saturation to it. Same with this rock here. There we go. I like this a lot. Let's take a look at where we came from. See how flat that shot was and how it lacked the contrast? Lightroom can only do so much. You have to take your shots into Photoshop and get even more out of them and pinpoint those areas that need help. If you find the dodge and burn tool are too destructive, then just try to change the range. So now I want the burn tool to only hit the shadows, leaving the highlights. I want that ominous feeling in the forest, like this is a mysterious waterfall in the middle of nowhere. Notice the shift from yellow to green. The green looks really healthy, but the yellow just looks funny. It's like the sun is interrupting the color. Let's see what we can do about that. Let's take a healthy green and see if we can overwrite using the brush tool set to the color mode. Give it a little touch. Brings it in line. If you enjoyed this and learned something, please hit like and subscribe. Visit DemaninPhotography.com or my Instagram for even more info. Bye for now.